Well, here we've got the son of David touching him, making an agreement with him that took of all of Israel and many, many people into Freemasonry, into this marriage, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David. Now what happened here? Solomon didn't go to Egypt and live with her. He brought her out of Egypt and put her in the city of David. Is the city of David clean while she's there? No. Spiritually. Until he had made an end of building his own house and the house of the Lord and the wall of Jerusalem round about. Moses was smarter than Solomon. In Hebrews 11 verse 24 it says, by faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Every Freemason in the world is automatically inherits the title of the son-in-law of Pharaoh. And that's what's making this happen in the spirit, in this country. And I'll show you a bit more. It's time you people walked into your churches, not sitting as listeners, but wanting truth. Demanding your pulpits to say, if you don't reveal the illegality, please step down from the pulpit. Because we want honest people in there. And so does God. I'm going back to that scripture. But draw near hither, you sons of the sorceress, the seed of the adulterer and the whore. Against whom do you sport yourselves? Against whom make your wide mouth and draw out the tongue? Are you not children of transgression, the seed of falsehood? Most people, you only have to listen to what they're saying, and you know whether they're lying or whether they're telling the truth with what they're saying. Now that's the book of, or the prophet Nahum, but the book on Nahum is in relation to Nineveh. Jonah was sent to Nineveh, but he didn't want to go. He jumped ship. Why? Because he knew he was going against her. And I've seen a lot of Christians try to get strong enough to go against her, and excuse the expression, she rips them to shreds. Why? Not prepared enough, not trained enough, still wondering if Christ is Lord or not, still wondering if they get baptised underwater, should they get baptised with a little sprinkle on their forehead or actually get it baptised? Well, Aussie, you ain't got much time to make your decision because somebody's making it for you. You're all in the UN right now. Do you have the opportunity to shut the gate? You'll only get the one. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favoured harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, there it is, that sells nations, i.e. Australia, through her whoredoms, and families, that's yours, through her witchcrafts. And it's time it stopped, because you cannot deal with the problem in the UN if you haven't got spiritual authority. Beasley's statement, and I'm going to read it twice. The United Nations has given federal government a mandate of ownership for houses, farms, property and business to government control once the Republic has been proclaimed. One of the ladies said to me last night when we're having tea and bickies after I'd asked the question, she said, I met you once before. I said, where'd you meet me? So I come to one of your lectures. I'm not interested in the monarch being chucked out because I'm a Republican. Well, hello. What's a Republican going to do? Hand it to the UN. Is that correct? Because there it is there. Why you've still got your constitution, let me make it real simple to you, please. You've got the bank robbers coming out of the bank. They've still got their guns, they've got all the loot, they've got the balaclavas on, and they're running to the getaway car. The getaway car is the Republic, which they then jump in and drive it around and park it in the garage of the United Nations. Then they've achieved the robbery. But what has just happened? We've found the getaway car before they could get in it. Is that correct? Yeah. And we've moved it around the block. And now we're standing in the spot where they're all going to run to, with the balaclavas on. i.e. Jim McGinty, Julia Gillard, Kevin Rudd and whoever else you want to put in there. Is this reasonable to understand? Is that as simple as you're going to get it? Yes. Now, what are your rights standing on that spot? You've got two. You've got enormous spiritual rights with Christ, enormous. Most of you are still wondering if you have. The other one is you've got the grand jury rights still left in the jurisdiction of Victoria, and there's already 60 to 80 charged there. All you have to do is add your name to that application by an affidavit. You don't even have to go through the process that we've all been through. You only have to walk in there and say, add that to that. And what's your name? Always get their name at the desk, because maybe they're not there next day. Because I've seen them cover this and cover this and cover this. Why do they fear grand jury? Because grand jury can indict the criminal. Grand jury can indict Julia Gillard. As Christians, we forgive Julia Gillard. You have to. But you have to take her to court to see that she's a criminal. Is that a fair comment? Yes. I'm not saying things lightly here, because we've charged these people. There are people sitting in this room with documents already sitting in Melbourne because they jumped on a plane and they came into the courtroom and charged the judges that they saw pervert the justice on that day. Didn't you? Yes. We found it on One Nation's website. And since we found it and put it into our website and used it here, it's gone from One Nation's website. And we can't find the Hansards. But in a court of law, we need the Hansard. So anyone who finds the Hansards in relation to this statement, we need it. But we don't need it in a normal lecture, because this is the smoking gun syndrome. Who pointed the gun and who fired the trigger or pulled the trigger? That's up to a jury to decide that. All I'm doing is presenting the evidence. You're the jury. You know I've already got an indictment in grand jury, don't you? Because you know something's wrong. It's easier to give the indictment and let it go to trial so it can be fully revealed. What is the olive branch that we have offered to the court? Make it a trial of the issue. What is the issue, said the court. I said, do you want a Masonic government or a Christian government? Because under Christ you will get protection. In a Masonic government you will lose every right you've got, including your house, your land, and anything you think you own, including your children. Is that to be looked forward to? Because that's what the UN is telling you in that statement there. They're saying, we can't get you till we've got the Republic. Excuse the expression. Did they wait till you voted on a Republic? Because they already told them to take the Crown out. Wayne Martin, who is your Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Western Australia today? Wayne Martin. Wayne Martin has full knowledge the Crown is removed. Is Wayne Martin sitting legally as your main judge in Western Australia? No. What are you going to do about him? Charge him. Because he knows he's already charged. When Wayne Gloos went in front of him the other day, he held up his charge sheet of his grand jury application in Melbourne, to which Wayne Martin said, I don't give a hoot about that. That's your current judge in the highest court in this state. Is that what you're going to tolerate? Well, I'm not talking about the UN way over there. I'm talking about the UN's already sitting in your court here and in your pulpits here. Why? Because your pulpits are not revealing it. Am I saying it as clear as you're going to get it? The United Nations has given federal government a mandate of ownership. Now, in clear words, folks, that's socialism. In more extensive words, that's communism. And your inability to do something, please, that's why you're here. So I'm not talking to you in that manner. I'm talking to that DVD for the people who are still sitting. You don't sit when the battle's on. Is that a reasonable comment?
Yes, absolutely.
When a battle is on, you should be ready for it. They're assets stripping you. And they're stripping you naked in the spirit. Why? Because they took your pulpits off you. There's not a church that can be legal with the Crown